Namaste and a warm welcome to everyone. Our mission on this channel is to bring you information that challenge the status quo and empowers you to take the charge of your health. We are living in a time where chronic illness is exploding and mystery symptoms are everywhere. Many feel misled by the traditional pharmaceutical industry. However, we are fortunate to have dedicated researchers around the world who are restoring our faith in Ayurveda, alternative medicine, and electromolecular medicine. But before, I would like to ask you a question. What if the key to health isn't just chemistry, but physics and voltage? Joining us today is a man who has dedicated years to study the electromolecular impact of oxygen on the human body. He is a researcher specializing in the oxidation reduction potential of the body, a key figure in the global health community, and a true pioneer of electromolecular medicine. We will be discussing his groundbreaking work on selective oxidation and much more. So, welcome, Dr. Andres, sir. Thank you so much for coming as a guest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your invitation, Dr. Amish Kumar. It is really an honor for me to be here with you and the people of India.
Thank you. So today's interview is one that every single person, whether you are a parent, health practitioner, or simply someone who wanted sovereignty over their own health, really needs to hear. Andres, sir, I have a long list of questions from our community, so I would like to dive right with my first question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So you talk about electromolecular medicine. How does it actually works?
Well, actually, what is the difference? We have biochemistry, it's well known in pharmaceutical, but we have biophysics too. So I'm not a biochemist, I'm a biophysicist. So for me, I'm more lean into physics, mathematics. That is actually what it is. And if we think about our body, yes, it's made out of chemistry, but actually, when you think, it's electric, or if you make an impulse, it's electric. So basically, life is electric. And the chemistry is just a consequence of it, because actually, even my friends, chemists, of course, they say for every chemical reaction is a transfer of an electron from one part to the other. You know, chemistry is electricity in the deep down under. So if we want to understand the body right, and this is what the humanity has not reached at all, because more and more people are ill. So we have to think deeper, and thinking deeper means to go on the electromolecular levels to understand what is going on electrical cellular proportions and on mechanisms. So when we understand that, if we go for, Elon Musk calls it first principle, and this is very right. We need the first principles of health. And my work was, okay, what's the first principle of health? Oxygen.
So we take a food and we take all the nutrients from the food, and that strengthens our body, our tissues, our cells. Does still we require the electromolecular medicine to recover?
Yeah, this is a good thing what you said, because how long can you be without food? Well, normally, in India there are some specialists for even longer, but let's say you can be, let's say, maybe 3 weeks without food or 3 days without water. The question is, how long can you be without oxygen? So oxygen is needed to make if you have the Krebs circle, in every single step of the Krebs circle is an oxidation process or oxidation reduction process. So oxygen is in each one of them. And we have to understand it's the most essential substance of life. And we see more and more chronic illness. What is a chronic illness? Yeah, well, a reduction of conductivity and hyperacidity. It means 90 something, I don't know exact, but over 90% of all illnesses that we can say it's a metabolic acidosis for whatever reason. So what does it do? Well, it causes a lack of oxygen due to the Bohr effect.
Okay, so the vaccines provided by the government, so all those vaccines are useless. We shouldn't take those vaccines.
I'm not a vaccine specialist. I'm a scientist, and I go for the science. So first of all, you have to see, okay, where does it come from? It was basically a wrong beginning because vaccine comes from vaca, that's the cow, and because Edward Jenner was using cowpox to vaccinate smallpox. That's a totally different entity, and it's absolute bogus. That's science. And the next thing is RFK right now. Well, they made that all of the children vaccines, not one is placebo controlled. And so it violates the basic principles of medicine, of Hippocratic oath, and legally too. Because what they did is they compared one vaccine with the other. Let's say, for example, I compare a bourbon whiskey with a Scotch whiskey, but and to say which one is less damaging, but we're still drinking whiskey in both cases, so it's toxin anyway. We can see, and then there's a statistics. So if you see the statistics, you will not find one, not even one autist, let's say from the standard, what's called autism now,
Mhm.
in my age. I'm now 65 years old. There's none. You don't find it. So what changed? The main change is the statistical curves about vaccines are completely identical with the rise of autism in every country, even India, America, wherever.
Okay, if yeah, go ahead, please.
Yep.
Okay, if these vaccines are so harmful, why government are allowing these pharma companies to launch their vaccines and all these every year?
The over 90% answer of most of these questions is money.
Okay, so if someone has taken these vaccines, what tests should they undergo to identify any potential side effects?
Depends what type of vaccine. There are many. But if you speak about COVID and company, for example, for that are doing or mRNA vaccines right now, you can make a check about of D-dimer and ferritin that are normally out of over the roof when there is a vaccine damage, because these vaccines have not been equal. Some have been very strong, some have been very weak, some have been real killers, depending on the charge.
Okay. Okay, so a new vaccine is being launched in India, that is HPV. So could you provide some information or your perspective on the HPV vaccine?
It's exactly the same. So it's the same story, the same money, the same background. For example, if we don't have randomized placebo-controlled trials, they are worthless.
Okay, and how much time does it take to detox your body if you took any vaccine?
Depend. For example, we have a group, the group of around of the Komusaf doctors, around 5,000 doctors approximately, and the feedback we had is in between 3 to 6 months. Normally, the vaccine problem is that the spike protein gets more and more and more because it's a alteration of our own cells in the DNA. So our DNA produces poison.
Okay, and how many diseases we can cure by the detox or electromolecular medicine?
Depend. No, I will not ever say that something is cured. The only thing that cures your body. It helps to cure, yes, of course, because it's a tool. It's a tool that increases ORP, that means oxidation reduction potential, and as a consequence of this, we have more oxygen and more charge. If the cells have more charge, they're able to recover. If the charge is too low, it's like a phone with no charge. It can be the most expensive phone in the world, it will not work.
Okay, sir, could you please share some testimonial uh, so we can show our audience?
Well, I can share many, but I could tell many things, but it's best for your audience. And there you have tons and tons and tons of testimonials, real testimonials from real people that have been using it, thousands, and that have been cured. So it starts with easy things. If you have, for example, acne, like this lady before and after, or this young man. well, because they're suffering actually. They're really suffering before, after, or if you have hair loss, as this lady here, and or as a man too, for example, you have severe hair loss. This was after the vaccine, so they'll start to lose hair, and it comes back. Everything you have vitiligo. It's considered incurable, And this was in 2019, and this is the next one, 2022, no vitiligo. Herpes zoster, very shingles, are very nasty, painful. But what happened? The mother, she knows, and she had the and sprayed it on the back. It was gone in very fast time. This is another herpes in an older person, and 1 week later, the same leg is like this. Or we have a herpes in the face, really nasty herpes zoster, and that's after. Nothing helped. Arthrosis, the typical ladies with the fingers, the hands are bad, and now they recover. They recover from arthrosis. Something is unbelievable. Or look, this old lady here, you see the hand before and after. Psoriasis, considered non-curable. Look at these feet and after. Or this young lady here, all the legs full and after, from Thailand. Here another one, before and after. Or it's on all the body, this poor man on the body for years and years, 15 years, and after, gone. Another guy, here, psoriasis all over the body. Nothing can help, no solution from standard medicine. And here we go. That's after. Cancer patients. Well, this is nose cancer. They wanted to amputate the nose. No, and she didn't want because she's a singer, obviously. And she just used that's now. No amputation. Same happened with this man, where the daughter, the granddaughter, put him and saved his nose, or the ear from this grandfather, where it was saved too. It was ear cancer. The next one is eye, on the eyes, and solved as well. Next one is lymphoma, and this is non-curable normally, and he's totally recovered. He would have died, the same as this lady here, before, meanwhile, and after. So this is another cancer. You can make it intratumoral. In this case, the cancer just fall off, and that's it. The final report and so on. We have everything documented here. This is another lymphoma cancer, lymph cancer from a kid. She would have died, but she's healed and alive. And I could go on and on and on and on. And
Okay. Okay.
this is a good question. Basically, you can't. Because you're living in Delhi and you go out of you go out of the door and you breathe 3 times and you're intoxicated again. So it's relative, Toxicity, it's a question of amount. It's not a question of substance. You can have any substance, arsenic, for example, very toxic, but you have it in your body. The question is how much. If it's too much, you die. If it's not, not.
Okay. If there are so many people who took vaccines like a COVID vaccine, right? And if you meet those people on regular basis, still it's kind of you will get affected.
Well, this is an effect called shedding. So
Shedding,
the
yeah,
spike
shedding.
protein, yeah, the spike protein is something that can be transmitted, but the difference is that the transmitted one is not a self-reproductive one. So this it's like getting a COVID flu, whatever, and you get it, it's over, you make your own antibodies about it. It's very different to the person that is vaxxed himself, that is creating all the time with their own cells new spike proteins due to the mRNA process. It's up to you, for example, what you take or what you don't. So the best vaccine is the one you don't take. That's because why? Simply because I told you before, there's no scientific evidence that they ever worked. So this substance has been shown to eliminate any kind of bacteria, virus, and fungus, and not to harm our cells because of voltage difference.
Hello.
And this is the amazing thing. So a singular cell has a much lower ORP than
Can you
a
please?
human cell that has a very high
Sorry, can you
ORP
repeat? Can you come
compared
again?
to a bacteria, a virus, or fungus. So the same power that destroys a virus, a bacteria, or fungus for a body cell is absolutely irrelevant.
Okay, and if someone has rabies, HIV, or tetanus, does
Actually, it is
this
purified. In
electromolecular
Germany,
medicine
Switzerland, Austria, they
work?
used it
So
for
this
50, 70 or more years to purify the water. It's the best water purifier you have. So what happens is you put it in your water, and after putting it in, and the gas evaporates, and the only thing left is clean water. Okay, so it's a gas like bubble water is a gas. It's not a salt like,
tap water
especially in
also?
India, for example, it would be one of the best solutions for drinking water. That is a huge problem. I've been there, so I know. Yeah, it is. It is. It should be used on worldwide scale, but it's a question of money.
O2.
It's very different. Ah, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Go on a
properly
physical
and more
level. So you
effectively.
have anions and you have cations. So what happens is when you open the door or breathe in the window in daily, you get some oxygen, yes, but not 21%. You get much less, maybe 18
Okay.
if so. And the other 3% are carbon, powder, dust, whatever, mixed. And the problem
And
is, if
those
it goes
people
to
who
the
are
lung,
living
this
in
is a
very much
cation, and the
populated
cation is
cities
acidic,
who
and
inhale so much
the
pollution
acidity makes
every
harm to
day,
our
so
cells,
can
and this harm is
those
called
people also
toxicity.
detox
People have to understand what
themselves?
toxicity really is. You know, it's like everything is toxic. Even water can be
Okay,
toxic.
it's just
Depend.
like
You can
when you
drink
inhale
water,
or
but you
like
cannot breathe
swallow
it.
these kind of toxins. It's like
It's not about the oxygen, it's about the combination. You have oxygen combined, you have clean oxygen, you have dirty oxygen. You know, if you inhale a lot of dirty stuff, you get a lot of dirty stuff too. You know, it's not the same. To be in Manali, somewhere up there in the mountains, you know, and to say, wow, that's air, you know, or to be in the middle of Delhi when where you only hear honking cars, you know, everybody says, and stinking trucks, whatever, you know. He goes by
we
and you,
hear a lot about yoga,
you're
and
3 hours
in that
like that.
yoga there is
So tell me,
an
what
exercise
is
you can say,
toxicity?
like inhaling and inhale and exhale for a long time in the morning when you have a lot of oxygen around you.
Yeah, okay,
So
go
is
on.
that helps your body to detox without the electromolecular without?
Well,
Okay.
and
Okay,
try to learn.
because
So
you
life
inhale
is
so
about
much
learning. If you
oxygen,
like,
and you're talking
if you
about
make
giving oxygen
and
to
ask an
your
old
body.
yogi about the
So by
sense of
this,
life, he will most likely tell you it's about learning. You know?
okay,
And because that's what he do. You know, if he meditates, he tries to learn what's going on and really to find the truth, find your own truth. I could be lying, yes, of course, like anyone, but I have no financial interests, like most. So if I don't have a financial interest, the probability, scientific, that I don't lie is much higher than of somebody who wants to sell you something. So if they don't want to sell you anything and they tell you something that seems to work and you have seen that it works, so most likely it works. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Yeah. If it's a question of community. For example, in Thailand, we have quite a nice big community, and it's not India, but relatively, let's say,
Great,
bigger
great, great.
community. In India,
Thank you
it's
so much,
India is
sir,
so
for
big,
all
you
your
know.
work
India is not
and for
small.
giving us
India
your
is
time
wow,
today.
wow, wow, wow,
To
wow.
everyone watching this,
So
please try to understand
to
this
go to India,
concept.
and it's
Take the step
expensive
to
to go
detox
because you have
yourself and
the
your
flights
loved
and all
ones.
that stuff
It
too.
literally could save your
And
life. Again, thank you
so it
so
has to
much,
be at least
Andres
an
sir, for
amount of people
empowering
that are
us with your
interested, you know.
awareness.
So it
And
depend
for
on
our
the amount of
audience,
people,
we will
depend
keep
of
bringing
amount of
sir back here
interests, or
for
it has to
all
be
of
an
you.
institution. There are
Thank you for watching,
institutions that
everyone.
can be
Thank you,
interested
sir,
in,
for your time.
because